The Golden State Warriors franchise was lost, lacked direction, were poorly run, and needed a pure stroke of luck to get up off the ground. Following the 2008-2009 NBA season, the front office in Golden State saw their patience run out. After a 29-win season and despite the emerging Monte Ellis winning the hearts of loyal Warriors fans, a change was needed in a big way.
With the 7th pick in the 2009 NBA draft, the Golden State Warriors select Stephen Curry from Davidson College.
The odds of this happening was 1 in a million. Hell, the odds of this happening, and this happening were all 1 in a trillion. But before we put together one of the finest resumes of any pro athlete ever, no one thought this man would become a fraction of what he'd actually become.
And the question is, can he make the transition to the point guard spot? Is he going to be strong enough against NBA defenders over the course of an 82-game schedule to get the ball in the operational area? Is he going to understand time, score, and situations?
With the 7th overall pick in the 2009 NBA draft, the Warriors landed Steph Curry, giving birth to the rise of one of the greatest players in NBA history. The Warriors already had Monte Ellis, another offensive-minded guard, but Coach Don Nelson saw potential in Steph's lean 6'3" frame fitting into his small lineup strategy. Make no mistake, Steph had already made a name for himself even before being drafted. Born to Sonia and Dell Curry in Akron, Ohio, while his dad was shooting hoops for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, here's the scoop on Steph's rookie season in the 2009-2010 season. He rocked the court, appearing in 80 games with 77 starts, averaging 17.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, 5.9 assists, and 1.9 steals in 36.2 minutes. Even for a rookie, that's next-level stuff. His outstanding performance in the second half of the season even put him in the running for Rookie of the Year. Steph's game was on fire, earning him Western Conference Rookie of the Month honors multiple times in January, March, and April. He was the only Western Conference rookie to bag this award 3 times. Though he narrowly missed out on the Rookie of the Year title to Tyreke Evans, Steph made history as a unanimous NBA All-Rookie first-team selection. He was the first Warriors player since Jason Richardson in 2001-02 to achieve this feat. And get this, Steph pulled off 5 30-point, 10-assist games, tying the legendary Michael Jordan for the most such games by a rookie, although it was broken by Trae Young in 2018-2019. Steph capped off his rookie season with a jaw-dropping performance against the Portland Trail Blazers, notching up a career-high 42 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists. He became the first rookie since Oscar Robertson in 1961 to hit those numbers in a single game. Let's not forget that he drained a whopping 166 three-pointers during his rookie season, which is the most by any rookie, and honestly, I don't think we would see anyone matching that soon. It's fair to say that Steph Curry displayed one of the best performances by a rookie we have ever seen, and it was just the confirmation of all the talent that everyone witnessed early on that made him one of the best draft prospects. Everyone knew he was good, but another question was if he was special, and would he maybe become one of the greatest players of all time. After his rookie season, Steph Curry showed up in 74 games in the 2010-2011 season, starting in all and throwing down an average of 18.6 points, 3.9 rebounds, 5.8 assists, and 1.47 steals per game. Not to mention his free throw game was on fire, boasting a record-breaking .934 percentage, surpassing Rick Barry's mark from the late 70s and setting a new Warriors record. Steph's scoring finesse was in full swing, dropping 20 or more points 35 times and 7 30-plus performances. During All-Star Weekend in February 2011, Steph bagged the Skills Challenge and also dazzled in the Rookie Challenge with 13 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds in just 28 minutes. He capped off a fantastic sophomore season with the NBA Sportsmanship Award in May. It wasn't all smooth sailing, though, as the injury and subsequent surgery benched him for the last 28 games of the season. Interestingly, the Golden State Warriors considered swapping Steph for Andrew Bogut in a deal with the Milwaukee Bucks. However, the Bucks weren't having it, citing concerns about Steph's history with ankle troubles. The deal eventually went down without Steph, giving him the opportunity to step up and take the reins as the leader of the Warriors. And how good did that turn out eventually? Before the 2012-2013 season kicked off, Steph locked in a 4-year, $44 million contract extension, a deal that some basketball pundits thought was a bit of a gamble given his injury history. In that season, Steph played in 78 games and started all, setting career highs with an average of 22.9 points and 6.9 assists. Not bad for someone with a quote-unquote injury history. But he didn't just play, he shattered the single-season three-point record with a jaw-dropping 272 three-pointers, surpassing Ray Allen's previous mark of 269 back in 2005-06. And get this, he did it with 53 fewer attempts than Allen, proving he's not just a volume shooter, but an efficient one. His regular season was superb, including a 47-point game against the Los Angeles Lakers, becoming the first Warrior since Rick Barry way back in 1966 to score 45-plus points at both Madison Square Garden and Staples Center in the same season, having previously notched 54 points against the Knicks. During the 2013 playoffs, Steph made his postseason debut, guiding the Warriors to the 6th seed in the Western Conference. Over 12 playoff games, he continued his scoring spree, averaging 23.4 points, 8.1 assists, and 3.8 rebounds. He set a franchise record with 42 playoff three-pointers, surpassing Jason Richardson's previous mark, and capped off a historic season by becoming the first player in NBA history to hit over 300 threes in a single season. Steph followed up with another 78-game season, and he started in all. He became the first player in Warriors history to achieve 24 points and 8 assists in a single season, and the 9th player in NBA history to pull off this feat. Steph wasn't just about scoring buckets, he was raining threes like nobody's business, leading the league in three-pointers made for the second consecutive season with 261. He joined the elite ranks alongside Ray Allen, becoming the first player since 2001-02 and 2002-03 to lead the league in threes back-to-back. He secured a spot on the All-NBA second team, a first for a Warriors player since 1993-94. And let's not forget his milestone moment against the Memphis Grizzlies on December 7th when he surpassed Jason Richardson as the franchise leader in career three-pointers. But despite making his All-Star debut, the postseason wasn't a memorable one. Seeded 6th for the second year in a row, the Warriors faced a tough battle against the Los Angeles Clippers, ultimately falling short in a grueling 7-game series. It meant that the Warriors would enter the 2014-2015 season 40 years without winning a championship. If that was to change, Steph Curry would need to give more than 100% of what he already has done in 5 years since he was drafted. It looked a bit harsh for Steph because the Warriors weren't a title-contending team, and his numbers would have been more suited to a championship-winning team. He's got the best three-point shooting accuracy in the league. I mean, we're talking about a guy who has a range on that jumper greater than a freaking Tomahawk missile. He's got this unorthodox jump shot that's quicker than you can blink, releasing the ball in under half a second. It's really tough to block his shots. They call him the baby-faced assassin since his college days, and in the NBA, he's known as Chef Steph, cooking up some seriously spicy plays. Alongside his partner in crime, Klay Thompson, the Splash Brothers became a thing because of their incredible shooting abilities. In fact, in the 2013-14 season, they set a record for combined three-pointers made in a season with 484, only to break it the next season with 525, and then again in the 2015-16 season with a mind-blowing 678 threes. I mean, is there really a range limit for these guys? Probably not. Looking to get their hands on an NBA championship, the Warriors shook things up by bringing in Steve Kerr as their new head coach for the 2014-2015 season. Kerr's fresh approach breathed new life into the team, emphasizing a faster pace and giving Steph the green light to shoot like never before. And boy, did Steph deliver. He was crowned the NBA Most Valuable Player after helping the Warriors to a 67-win regular season, averaging 23.8 points, 7.7 assists, and 2 steals per game. He even shattered his own record for three-pointers made in a season during a game against the Portland Trail Blazers, and followed that up by breaking the NBA record for most three-pointers in a single postseason during the Western Conference Finals against the Houston Rockets. The Warriors defeated the Rockets to set up a final with the Eastern Conference champions and LeBron-led Cleveland Cavaliers. Despite some struggles early on in the series, Steph Curry exploded with a 37-point performance in Game 5. The Warriors closed out the series in 6 games to finally clinch their first championship in 4 decades. Steph averaged 26 points and 6.3 assists per game in the final, and everyone agreed that when Steph plays well, the Golden State Warriors play well. Suddenly, Steph Curry turned the Warriors into a highly competitive team, and heading into the 2015-2016 season, they were favorites to retain the championship. The predictions weren't wrong. Well, at least for the regular season. The Warriors had the best regular season record of all time, going 73-9. The fact that this record topped the famous Bulls side of the 90s when they won 72 games and lost 10 in 1995-1996 was the highest point of it all. Steph Curry, who just won the MVP award the previous season, topped it off by leading his team to the best regular season record ever, but by also winning the first and only unanimous MVP season in NBA history, averaging 30.1 points per game, 5.4 rebounds, 6.7 assists, 2.1 steals, and shooting 50, 45, 90 from the field. Previously, Shaquille O'Neal fell one vote shy of being the first ever unanimous selection in 2000, as did LeBron James in 2013, both receiving 120 of 121 votes. The 2016 MVP award also made Steph the 11th player in NBA history to win the award in consecutive years, and the first guard to do so since Steve Nash back in 2004-05 and 2005-06. He is the only Warrior in franchise history to have won the award besides Wilt Chamberlain in 1959-60. How did he become the first and only unanimous MVP in the NBA? Fresh off their first championship after beating LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Golden State Warriors wasted no time starting their historic run by winning 24 straight games out of the gate and going 29-1 in the first 30 games. Steph Curry went on to lead the league in scoring at 30.1 points per game and steals at 2.1 per game, which were at the time also his career high. He was the first Warriors player to lead the league in scoring since Rick Barry in 1966-67 with 35.6 points per game, and joined Barry and Wilt Chamberlain as just the third player in franchise history to average at least 30 points per game in a season. Steph also became the first guard to average 30 points on at least 50% from the field since Michael Jordan in 1991-92. Winning a scoring title is impressive, but his 30 points don't really jump out historically. But when you look deeper is where it gets interesting. Steph attempted 11.2 3-points per game and made 5.1 threes per game at an insane 45.4% clip. Those numbers at that point have never been done before. Never has someone in the history of the league dominated from beyond the arc at that volume and efficiency. Not to mention the distance. The NBA has a 22-foot 3-point line in the corners and a 23-foot 9-inch line elsewhere. Steph shot an incredible 251 out of 563, which equates to 44.6% from 25 to 29 feet. That's more than a foot behind the 3-point line. That ranked third behind another great shooter named Steph Curry, who shot 45.4%. His actual 3-point percentage was second that season behind J.J. Redick, but the insane part is Redick attempted 421 threes and made 200 of them, but Steph easily doubled his attempts with 886 threes and more than doubled the makes at 402, which is also the highest ever 3-point total made in NBA history. From 30 to 34 feet, which is basically the center of the court, he shot 15 for 26, which equates to 57.7%. While Steph's incredible 3-points stole the show, what made him a uniquely dangerous scorer is that he was efficient in all areas of the court. He scored like a big man from the paint at 64.5 field goal percentage. He scored like Kobe from the mid-range. Scored like Steve Nash from the free throw line at 90.8%, which led the league, by the way, and shot like Chef Steph from deep. Like we mentioned earlier, Steph in the 2015-16 season became part of the esteemed 50-40-90 club, but he one-upped everyone by being the only member of the 50-45-90 club. After that impressive and record-breaking season, it was almost right that the Warriors wouldn't make it through the playoffs, and they did, sweeping through the Rockets and the Trailblazers despite Steph being out for most of the first round due to injury problems. In the Western Conference Finals against Oklahoma City Thunder, Steph Curry helped the Warriors rally from a 3-1 series deficit to win 4-3 and advance to back-to-back NBA Finals. But karma had it for the Warriors as they lost in 7 games against the Cavaliers, having led the series 3-1. They became the first team in NBA Finals history to lose a series after leading 3-1. Steph couldn't help the Warriors cap off one of the most remarkable NBA seasons ever, and for Cleveland and LeBron James, it was sweet, sweet revenge. Maybe it was the injury, but Steph didn't manage to replicate his regular season performance, but still broke Danny Green's record of 27 3-pointers made in the finals. In October of the 2016-2017 season, Steph reached 1,600 career triples faster than anyone in history. But 1 month later, something unexpected happened. Steph's 157-game streak of sinking a three-pointer was snapped after going 0 for 10 in a loss against the Lakers. But just 3 days later, New Orleans would pay for that as Steph hit threes like never before, dropping 13 and setting the NBA's single-game record in a regular season. Steph also nailed his 200th three-pointer of the season in February 2017, becoming the first player in NBA history to achieve this milestone 5 times consecutively. Talk about consistency. And he moved into the top 10 of the NBA's career three-point list when he scored 31 points against the New York Knicks in early March. In the playoffs, Steph led the charge, helping the Warriors sweep through the first 2 rounds and dropped 40 points in Game 1 of the conference finals and hit a clutch 3 to rally the Warriors from a 25-point deficit against the San Antonio Spurs. The Warriors ended up winning the series 4-0 and made it 12-0 in total in the playoffs, which was a new record in the NBA. They faced Cleveland again in the finals, but this time they got the better of them in 5 games and won their second championship in 3 years. This was coming after a 40-year title drought, and in Game 2 of the finals, Steph made his first triple-double in the postseason after notching 32 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds. In the summer of 2017, Steph signed a groundbreaking 5-year, $201 million extension, becoming the first player to ink a Supermax contract. The Warriors had to go all the way to keep the best player in the league. Steph reached another milestone in early December, becoming the fastest player to hit 2,000 career three-pointers, doing so in just 597 games. Steph made shooting beyond the arc a piece of cake, and his play style revolutionized the NBA, inspiring a new generation of players to embrace the long-range game. Before Steph Curry came into the scene, three-pointers were like a sideshow act in the NBA. A quirky way to score, nothing serious. Sure, we had some catch-and-shoot players, but then Steph dropped in with his insane success, turning the game on its head. Suddenly, the league was ditching the old-school bruising style and fully embraced a fast-paced, three-point heavy play. The three-point revolution is partly thanks to teams trying to outsmart the Warriors and copy their style. And let's not forget the recent generation. They're trying to channel their inner Steph with those deep three attempts. The thing is, Steph's range is rare and magical. He is casually draining shots from 30 to 35 feet, hitting a mind-blowing 54% from that range. Meanwhile, the rest of the NBA struggles, making only 35% of threes overall and a measly 22% from Steph's favorite sweet spot. Going back to the 2017-2018 season, Steph led the Warriors to yet another impressive regular season, but suffered an injury in late March and was out for weeks only to return during the second-round playoff game. He came back stronger and led the Warriors to yet another showdown with Cleveland in the finals, where he set a new finals record of 9 three-pointers in Game 2 of the series. The Warriors ended up clinching the series and second straight title sweep over the Cavaliers, and with Kevin Durant winning the finals MVP, it meant that Steph was yet to win one, and with a performance like that, what more could he have done to win it? The following season, Steph became the 5th player to hit 15,000 regular season points for the Warriors. He also reached the 16,000-point mark, which meant that he was closing in on Wilt Chamberlain as the Warriors' all-time scorer. He moved into 3rd all-time three-pointers, and in the playoffs, they defeated the Clippers and Rockets to set up a conference final with the Trailblazers. Interestingly, the Blazers had Steph Curry's brother Seth on their roster, and it would be the first time that the NBA would witness 2 brothers go head-to-head in a playoff series. Steph didn't show any brotherly love, though, as he averaged a series-high 36.5 points over 4 games, which is the highest by any player in a 4-game series sweep. In the 2019 finals against the Kawhi Leonard-led Toronto Raptors, despite much effort from Steph to keep the Warriors in the series, they eventually lost in Game 6 and meant that there would be no triple threat of titles for Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. In the 2019-20 season, Steph was supposed to step up big time with Thompson sidelined and Durant off as a free agent, but fate had other plans. During a game against the Phoenix Suns, Steph took a nasty spill colliding with Aaron Baines, which resulted in a broken left hand, surgery, and at least 3 months out of action. Steph would not return until March 2020, and by then, the damage had already been inflicted. Despite the Warriors entering the season as the 5-time defending Western Conference champions and runners-up in the 2019 finals, they finished bottom of the conference and had one of the worst seasons ever, leading to the doubt about Steph's Warriors growing even louder. They said the dynasty was over. They said Steph Curry wouldn't be able to lift Golden State past adversity. They counted out Steph and said he wouldn't ever capture that fourth NBA title. But then, things took an unexpected turn. Steph, looking to put the disappointing season behind, scored 5 3-pointers against the Jazz in late January 2021, surpassing Reggie Miller to claim second place in career-high 3-pointers, only trailing behind Ray Allen. But he was not far behind. During the month of April, they were reminded of what Steph Curry was made of. On April 12th, Steph dropped a whopping 53 points against the Denver Nuggets, surpassing Wilt Chamberlain as the franchise's all-time leading scorer. Steph broke Wilt Chamberlain's record of 17,783 points that stood for 57 years. And that's not all. He goes on an absolute streak, scoring 30-plus points in 11 consecutive games that month, breaking Kobe Bryant's record for players aged 33 or older. Oh, and he sank 78 three-pointers during that stretch, setting a new NBA record over 11 regular season games. His April performance was just insane, and he was named Western Conference Player of the Month after averaging over 37 points per game, shooting over 50% from the field, and hitting more three-pointers than anyone ever in a single month. He also bagged 96 three-pointers that month, which broke James Harden's 82 in November 2019 as the most three-pointers in a month. To top it off, Steph secures his second scoring title in the regular season finale against Memphis, capping off a season where he averaged over 30 points per game, the oldest player to ever do so. The Warriors unfortunately didn't make it past the play-in stage that season, with Klay still out and the Warriors handling a mismatch of young and underdeveloped players. Was Steph concerned though? Like, even a little bit?
Talk about playoffs, be about the playoffs, and have a shot to get in there. And, when it doesn't happen, obviously it's frustrating, but like I said, I'm proud of everybody that was a part of what we accomplished this year.
In the 2021-2022 season, Steph started strong with an 8th career triple-double in the Warriors season opener against the Lakers. Against the Bulls in November, he finally climbed the NBA's career leader spot for three-pointers in both regular season and playoffs, surpassing Ray Allen's tally with his 3,366 three-pointers. He also made his 2,974th career three-pointer in December, which again surpassed Ray Allen as the NBA's all-time leader in made threes. Then, January 21st, 2022, Steph pulled off his first career buzzer-beating game winner against the Rockets.
Steph for the win! Yes, sir!
After a 2-year hiatus from the NBA playoffs, the Golden State Warriors were back dominating the NBA. There were plenty of reasons to believe that, while the Dubs might have already peaked with 3 titles, they were still entering another space. Though they lost Kevin Durant to free agency in 2019, they had a couple of their top players in their mid-30s and endured the 2-year absence of Klay Thompson, but the Warriors didn't look like a team that's been set back by all these. In addition to Steph, they still had a fantastic roster with the likes of Jordan Poole, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, and Klay Thompson after he returned from injury. They finished 3rd in the Western Conference with a 53-29 record, and had Steph playing some of the best basketball of his career, having just broken the NBA's all-time record with 2,977 three-pointers. As the Warriors' anchor on defense and fulcrum on offense, Draymond had never looked more in charge. Statistically and aesthetically, these Warriors looked very much like their old selves, those Warriors that had won an NBA record 73 regular season games. During Game 4 of the playoffs against the Grizzlies, Steph became the first player to make 500 career playoff threes. Before the finals, there were doubts lingering because he hadn't won a finals MVP before, but Steph silenced critics with an outstanding performance all through the series. Steph had a fantastic resume of accolades and records, but a finals MVP eluded him for years, even though many people believed he should have won it in 2015. Throughout the NBA Finals, Steph was on fire, averaging 31.2 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1.7 steals in 6 games. Notably, he led all scorers in each of the first 4 games, a feat last achieved by Michael Jordan in 1998. The turning point came in Game 4, where Steph dropped a jaw-dropping 43 points, a performance that defined his legacy and tied the series 2-2. Steph later surpassed John Havlicek for 10th on the all-time finals assists. As the Warriors secured the title in Game 6, with Steph taking charge with 34 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Steph finally won a well-deserved Finals MVP award, and it might just have crowned his fantastic career. Facing the formidable Boston Celtics defense, Steph adapted to different defensive strategies thrown at him. Despite the Celtics' efforts, Curry excelled in pick-and-roll situations and isolations, scoring at an elite rate. Currently in his 15th season with the Warriors, it almost seems as if Steph hasn't changed one bit. As he continues to widen the gap between him and the second-best shooter of all time, he is a generational player and tore apart the NBA record books. Steph's 2024 All-Star Game selection marks his 10th selection. On the 3rd of February 2024, Steph scored 60 points, joining Kobe in the exclusive club of players who have hit 60 at 35 years or older. Steph will always be defined as an icon, a hero, and an inspiration to athletes across the world. And as he gets ready to turn 36 years old, we all have the feeling that Steph will find a way to transform the game, even at an advanced age.